Good afternoon and welcome to the news. My name is Remy Allen. President Bola Tinubu says his administration is revolutionizing agriculture to make Nigeria self-sufficient in food production and a net exporter of agricultural products. He disclosed this when he received a delegation from the global Tanzania movement led by Khalifa Mohammed Maniasi at the presidential villa in Abuja. The president also said his administration would support plans and efforts to give ease and succor to Hajj programs. He emphasized the importance of spiritual endeavors in nation building, underscoring his administration's commitment to supporting religious activities. The president also highlighted the need for collaboration between political and spiritual leaders to advance the nation's interests and promote unity among the people. Nurses under the aegis of National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Abuja chapter, have protested against the new verification certification guidelines released by the Nigeria and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. They expressed displeasure over what they described an attempt to hinder their freedom to pursue career opportunities, asking the council to address nurses' welfare, salary scale, shortage of staff, and other rights. The association had last Wednesday issued a circular revising the guidelines for requesting verification of certificates for nurses and midwives to take off in March. The council also stated that applicants must have active practicing licenses with a minimum of 6 months to the expiration date, and processing of verification applications would take a minimum of 6 months. The protesting nurses has asked that alleged frustration of Nigerian nurses be stopped as they are going through a lot already. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sued the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and the National Assembly at the Federal High Court, Abuja, over failure to disclose and explain the details of 344.85 billion naira National Assembly budget and the rationale for several budget items, such as 6 billion naira budgeted for 2 car parks. In the suit filed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, SERAP is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel Akpabio and Abbas to disclose, clarify, and explain details of the National Assembly budget in the Appropriation Act 2024. The organization is arguing that details of the spending of public funds by the National Assembly have been mostly shrouded in secrecy. Hence, Nigerians have the right to know the details of the budget by the lawmakers. SERAP said transparency in the spending of the National Assembly budget would give the public a tool to hold the lawmakers accountable. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. International Monetary Fund (IMF) says Nigeria can repay its $2.8 billion debt to the Washington-based institution following recent reforms. The assertion followed conclusion of its executive board's post-financing assessment with Nigeria. The most populous nation's debt stock as of September 2023, according to the Debt Management Office (DMO), was $114.35 billion. External debt was $41.59 billion, while domestic debt stood at 55.93 trillion naira. There have been doubts that the government may not be able to service its debt obligations due to surge in global food prices, reflecting the repercussions of conflict and geo-economic fragmentation. In what has been described a show of commitment to holistically ensure senior citizens get their dues, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa gave approval for the disbursement of 1.2 billion naira to offset the backlogs of gratuity. This disbursement was flagged up on 11th January 2024 to the delight of benefiting categories of retirees. Osrc says Zahid Aribisala in this report x-rays government's actions and plans towards fostering better welfare for senior citizens under the Aiyedatiwa administration. The report.
Staying true to his promise of fostering a better welfare for all, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, days after assuming office, approved the sum of 1.2 billion naira for payment of gratuities to retired workers in Ondo State. This approval elicited joyous reactions from the benefiting senior citizens, considering the long expectations they hold to claim their dues. Clearing the backlog of pensioners' gratuity in Ondo State with the action of the governor, they say signals better days ahead for retirees.
On behalf of the 2014 pensioners in Ondo State, to express our appreciation to our neighbor, kind and God-fearing governor, His Excellency Lucky Aiyedatiwa. With Lucky Aiyedatiwa on the helm of affairs, Ondo State indigenous are going to be very lucky.
Ondo State Head of Service Kayode Ogundele noted that the said sum was used to clear gratuities of 2014, said Governor Aiyedatiwa's approval to also increase monthly payment of pensioners' benefit to 320 million naira is a further boost to meeting government's obligations to the senior citizens.
We are still moving on. We have not stopped. The 1.2 billion that was used to settle 2014 is just like a tip in the iceberg. There are still efforts is still being made, and very soon approval will be given again. Before, let's even say before the we will reach the mid year, and I'm sure another approval will be given to release money to clear 2015.
Chairman, Ondo State Local Government Service Commission, Femi Idris, said the 1.2 billion naira disbursement also impacted all gratuities of 2011 and part of 2012 of local government service retirees.
Excellency Lucky Aiyedatiwa directed that settlements of gratuities in an holistic manner should be carried out, and it was basically settled by way of giving preference to some beneficiaries as regards their years of retirement.
Kayode Ogundele and Femi Idris believe Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has also demonstrated commitment to welfare of workers still in service.
And since Governor Aiyedatiwa, by providence, came on board as governor, he has not reneged on that. Rather than coming down, it has also increased. He has increased it. And of course, you recall he was deputy governor at that time, and of course in charge of the local government. And to God be the glory too, he was not in any way obstructing the release of training fund. We commend him on that, and we believe that he will do more for us.
While about 2.7 billion naira yearly has been set aside for the settlement of all other categories of the pensioners' benefits, sustaining and intensifying this tempo of commitment will invariably contribute to boosting workers' deliverables and in turn enhance delivery of service to people. Zahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Ondo State Police Command has ordered the deployment of special squads to Akunakoko area of the state to rescue suspected kidnapped victims and arrest their abductors. The command, in a statement, said the area commander and his team, with the support of the military and local security, have moved into the affected area for possible rescue. Personnel drawn from various tactical units led by the Special Anti-Kidnapping Squad have also been briefed and deployed to the area for the rescue of victims and possible arrest of suspects. The command assures people of the state and general monitoring public not to panic, as this isolated case does not determine the security status of the state. The Police Service Commission (PSC) has urged applicants seeking police jobs to ignore fake examination dates trending on social media. The Commission said it has not officially announced any examination date for applicants in the ongoing recruitment of youths into the constable cadre of the Nigeria Police Force. It therefore advised applicants to ignore dates currently circulating on social media. According to its spokesperson, Ikechukwu Ani, the Commission will, at the appropriate time, not only officially announce the dates for the examination, but will notify applicants who were successful at the screening exercise that was recently completed in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The 8 victims of Ekiti kidnapping who had been receiving medical attention at Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti have been discharged, having fully stabilized after a week in the hospital. They comprised 5 school children and 3 staff of the Apostolic Faith group of schools, Ekiti. They were kidnapped along Okoro Road on their way home from school and spent 6 days in the kidnappers' den before they were released in the early hours of Sunday last week. The grandmother of 3 of the school children, Mrs. Dorcas Ojo, said it would not have been possible for her to remain alive if the kidnappers had not released her 3 grandchildren. She thanked the government for its intervention and the medical attention provided for the victims. The National Agency for the Control of AIDS has urged Nigerians to protect themselves and prioritize their safety and well-being while expressing affection during Valentine's season. NACA's head of the Public Relations and Protocol, Tony Aderibigbe, urged the general public to incorporate protection into intimate moments, undergo regular HIV testing, and engage in conversations about sexual health with their partners. He said NACA encourages individuals to adopt a comprehensive approach to love, which includes open communication, mutual respect, and responsible choices. Valentine's Day is celebrated annually on February 14 to share love and gifts. Nigerian travel content creator Pelumi Nubi has arrived in Africa in Carabinchia's solo drive from London to Lagos. Her plan includes traversing through 17 countries through a distance of more than 70,000 kilometers with the goal of reaching Lagos in just 2 months. The 29-year-old avid traveler has been sharing updates from her journey, starting from Paris, France, after departing from England early this month. She emphasizes that her goal is not about breaking records, but rather showing the world that impossible is just a word, as she initially announced the challenge in November. The bodies of 3 military officers from the United Arab Emirates who were killed in a militant attack in Somalia have arrived at Abu Dhabi. The 4th officer, who sustained injuries during the attack on Saturday, died on arrival in the UAE. Emirati officials said the military officers had been in Somalia training local troops. The Bahraini soldier was also killed in the attack, which the Islamist group Al-Shabaab says it carried out. The attack targeted troops at the General Gordon military base in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. A Qatari court has released 8 former Indian naval officers previously on death row for unspecified charges. The released foreign ministry said 7 of the men have already returned to India. In January, authorities said that death penalty have been converted into prison sentences of varying lengths. Neither Qatar nor India revealed the charges against the men who were working for Dakar Global, a private firm in Qatar. Reports, however, have it that the men were charged with spying for Israel. Finland's conservative former Prime Minister Alexander Stubb has won Saturday's presidential election. Final results show that Stubb secured 51.6% of the vote, while his Green Party rival, Pekka Haavisto, the former foreign minister, had 48.4%. It is the first election since Finland joined the NATO military alliance. Mr. Stubb takes a hardline approach towards Russia, with which the Nordic nation shares a long land border. He said joining NATO was a done deal for his country as soon as Russia President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale war on Ukraine. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has transferred duties to his deputy while in hospital for an emergency bladder issue. Mr. Austin is in the critical care unit at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Virginia. Officials said it is so far unclear how long he will remain in hospital. Defense Secretary was under scrutiny for failing to disclose his prostate cancer diagnosis and hospital stays in December and January. The Pentagon said Mr. Austin had been taken to Walter Reed for treatment, adding that the White House and senior defense officials have been notified. Israel is facing growing international warnings over its planned offensive on Rafah, the city in southern Gaza, cramped with Palestinian refugees. UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron, Saudi Arabia, and the United Nations have warned of very serious repercussions if Rafah was stormed. Hamas also warned any operation would also undermine ongoing talks about a possible release of Israeli hostages held in Gaza. Adirunke Kolawole has more.
Israeli forces are graving hope for a grand assault in the southern Gaza city of Rafah and have ordered Palestinian residents there to move ever further south. The United Nations is warning Israel against a mass displacement of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip.
We would not support in any way forced displacement which goes against international law.
More than half of Gaza's 2.3 million people are sheltering in Rafah right up to the border fence with Egypt. They're subject to deadly Israeli strikes and dire humanitarian conditions. Aid agencies have warned large numbers of civilians could die and that there is nowhere safe for people to go.
They tell you there's a safe place, but on the way they bomb people, Deeb Ghanem says.
Many Palestinians say they fear a new catastrophe. That was when 700,000 Palestinians were dispersed from their homes during the Arab-Israeli War in 1948. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned of mass displacement for months. This is a spokesperson, Stephanie Dujarric, on February 9.
I think what is clear is that people need to be protected, but we also do not want to see any forced displacement, forced mass displacement of people, which is by definition against their will.
Arab nations, especially neighbors Egypt and Jordan, struggling to oppose any Israeli attempts to push Palestinians over the border. Egypt says it will not allow such movement onto its territory and has kept the border closed, only allowing a few thousand foreigners, dual nationals, and a handful of others to cross. It has strengthened security and border defenses in Sinai. Arab countries say Palestinians must not be driven from the land where they want to make a future state, including Gaza. Israel has dismissed our suggestion that mass displacement on its agenda. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says it has ordered the military to develop a plan to evacuate the population of Rafah. It says 4 Hamas battalions are deployed there. But comments by some high-ranking Israeli politicians have stoked fears. In late January, far-right Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir publicly urged Jewish settlers to return and resettle Gaza in rapturous applause. Palestinians said his words amounted to call for their forced deportation. He prompted a reprimand from White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby.
Irresponsible, reckless. We have made clear that there can be no reduction in Gazan territory.
Israel launched its war on Gaza on October 7 after Hamas militants infiltrated the border, killed about 1,200 people and took some 250 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Gaza's Earth military says more than 28,000 Palestinians have been killed in the month since. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
Top Western officials have criticized former U.S. President and Republican frontrunner Donald Trump over his comments that the United States might not protect NATO allies whom he says are not spending enough on their defense against a potential Russian invasion. Article 5 of the NATO treaty says an armed attack against an alliance member will be considered an attack against them all, triggering collective self-defense. Into the Akishinola has more.
Top Western officials criticized former President Donald Trump after he suggested the U.S. might not protect NATO allies. Top Western officials criticized former President Donald Trump after he suggested the U.S. might not protect NATO allies from a potential Russian invasion if those countries had not spent enough on defense. Trump's comment came during a weekend rally in South Carolina in which he appeared to recount a meeting with NATO leaders. The former president and likely 2024 Republican nominee claimed that the president of a big country, whom he did not name, once asked him about potential U.S. protection from Russia if that nation fell short on its defense spending. Trump said he told the NATO leader that the U.S. in that case would offer no protection and went as far as to say he would even encourage Russia to, quote, do whatever the hell they want. NATO's 31 members have agreed on a target of defense spending that is at least 2% of each country's gross domestic product. Estimates have shown that only 11 member nations are spending that much. In a written statement, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg responded to Trump's comments by saying, quote, any suggestion that allies will not defend each other undermines all our security, including that of the US, and puts America and the European soldiers at increased risk. Poland's defense minister also weighed in, posting on social media, quote, NATO's motto, one for all for one, is a concrete commitment, adding that no election campaign is an excuse for playing with the security of the alliance. EU Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton, in a televised interview in France, said Trump may have, quote, issues with his memory. Breton, recalling EU Internal Marketing Commissioner Thierry Breton, in a televised interview in France, said Trump may have, quote, issues with his memory. Breton, recalling that Trump actually had his conversation with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and not a mere president of a NATO country, as Trump had relayed. Meanwhile, the White House had its own response, with spokesman Andrew Bates calling Trump's comment, quote, appalling and unhinged. Akintunde Akinshomola for Osrc News.
Moving to the sporting arena, we take this story on a sad note. The men's marathon world record holder, Kenya's Kelvin Kipton, has died in a road accident in his home country. He was killed alongside his coach, Rwanda's Gervais Hakizimana, in a car on a road in western Kenya. A third person was taken to hospital after the accident just a few hours ago. Kipton made a stunning breakthrough in 2023 as a rival to his compatriot Eliud Kipchoge, whose record he later beat. It was in Chicago last October that Kipton bettered Kipchoge's achievement, running the 42 kilometers in 2 hours and 35 seconds. Still on sport, Vice President Kashim Shettima says Africa was the ultimate winner of the just concluded African Cup of Nations held in Cote d'Ivoire. Shettima asserted while he has
yes, we have tried our best, and the rest assured that there is always the next time. Engaging in May, former president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, said, "It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life lies in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach. It isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideal, but it is a disaster to have no ideal to capture. Not failure, but low aim is seen." Some countries, Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, exited 2-3 weeks ago. We have come this far, so close. The rest assured that we will come back warring stronger in the next dispensation. There is a cause for celebration. We are the second best footballing nation in Africa. You have no cause to be sad. We have every cause to celebrate. The nation is proud of you. You are the source of our national unity. It's when the Super Eagle plays. No race, no region, no religion. You unite the nation. The nation is in grief, but the nation is in solidarity with you. The rest assured that your names will be written in gold in the annals of contemporary football history in Nigeria.
Now with that, we wrap up World at Noon. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Has many names and many sets. We have one to call normal weed. I heard it's been grown here in Nigeria. We have SK2. We call it Skunk or Scan. Yeah, and we have Arizona. And we have Lao. And we have there's this one they call Mali. The pink side, D5, D10, Diazepam, Ezo, Tramadol, and Tramadol is of different milligram. We have the 50 milligram, we have like the 100 that be 120 milligram, then we have the 200 milligram, then we have the 225, and so on. And we have Refnol, we call it Rochi. About the smaller ones, we know that the smaller one of Refnol. We have ice now, and ice now has started going viral because they are dirty foil, like all those cake foil. Yeah, they put on the cake foil, then there is lighter to burn under of the foil, then the smoke extract coming out from on top will be taken in with the straw and they will inhale it. And those that take the CK, there's actually ice and there's CK. The CK is actually the highest because it's more expensive, because it's crack cocaine.
Welcome to Lagos State University, located in Ojo Town at the center of excellence. The Noble Institution was founded in the year 1983 and currently caters for a population of over 35,000 students enrolled in a full-time program. Just like many other universities in Nigeria, Lagos State University is not free from the scourge of drug abuse. Drug abuse in Lagos State University is considered a grievous offense by the management of the institution. It is clearly stated in the handbook that the penalty for the production, processing, possession, use, sale, trafficking in or advertising illicit drugs is expulsion from the university. 5 students from the institution are leading the drug-free LASU campaign on campus to promote a drug-free culture among students. They are also pushing for a review of the policy that expels students for use of drugs. The policy as it is prevents students from coming out to seek help. They believe that no one should be denied fair access to education because of drug use. Policy reform at the campus level remains a key part of their work. These students are part of the student organizing change movement across Nigeria. This documentary captures some of the realities of drug abuse on the campus and monitors the impact of the school policy on drug use. A story of fear, courage, hope, and resilience.
We, the Team LASU, have actually looked into our society and think deep on how to checkmate and what issue is actually happening around us, and which is the drug usage in which students of our own institution engage themselves in.
It's important to know that drug abuse is actually the pattern use of drugs, the way a user uses a drug. When you are using it in an amount or in a method that has not been prescribed by the medical practitioner. Some students do this mainly thinking they are not doing what we refer to as drug abuse. So it's what is something we could actually refer to as drug abuse when you use the drug that the drug has not prescribed.
Basically, taking of drugs is caused by so many factors. Most of these factors, the university may not be able to control them. And since the university may not be able to control them, what the university is thinking is that, okay, if we cannot control the causative factors, maybe we can try to prevent them from taking them within the campus, or try to prevent